Ooh, another book sequence. Entry A201.480 48.66.10. Chronometer turns since the incident. Enforcer. Witness Hide on 00110101. You claim that you left the Sanctum Navis on the Lady Navigator's orders. Hide on 00110101. Affirmative. This unit acted in accordance with Maintenance Protocol TRN 08353. Step 1. Send the sacred mechanism for the duration of 15 chronometer turns. Step 2. You failed to inform the bridge about the imminent jump. I want to know why. Data unavailable. The Lady Navigator ordered that she can be connected to the void ship, but she did not order the preparation of the machine spirits for warp translation. Cause a ritual that cannot be identified by this unit's capabilities. This unit received the command to interrupt protocol TRN 08353 and exit the Sanctum Navis. Didn't we prepare the ship for this jump? Why? Unnecessary risk. Servant. No, please, not the fingers. I'm gonna break one for every word of a lie I hear coming from your mouth. Now talk. Please, you have to believe me. All we did was prepare the canvas and mix the Lady Navigator's blood into the paints. And we were told to lock open the shutter so that the Lord Captain could see everything that was going on inside the Sanctum Navis from the observation chambers and... Grog shit. Armor glass can't shield you from warp horrors. I saw her on my soul on the Golden Throne, Master Enforcer. The Lady Navigator only wanted to paint a picture for a ritual or some such. That's all I know. She wasn't going to use the power now, but I said got as far away as there as I could. That's all I say. All I saw. I'm telling you. That sounds so unnecessary, risky. And now the enforcers are torturing people. Great. Senior Enforcer. We performed an emergency warp jump, barely activated the Gala field in time. It is so stupid. And are now being dragged to Throne Nosewhere by an unknown force. The Lady Navigator and the Lord Captain are still unaccounted for. Now tell me one more time. What transpired in the Sanctum Navis? Enforcer. I escorted the Lord Captain to the observation chambers and yelled at the servant for leaving the shutters open, but then I was told it was on the Lord Rogue Trader's orders. We could see the Lord Navigator clearly through the armor glass. She was lost in thought, staring at the canvas in front of her. She looked like she was completely unaware of the world around her. Soon the servants were ordered to leave the Sanctum Navis. The Lady Navigator picked up her brush. Entranced, she started dragging it across the canvas, painting one image over another, and another over the last, and another. And then the Lord Captain noticed it. There was a thing on the other side. The picture, covered in a layer of fresh blood, was coming to life, but the Lady Navigator was oblivious. That is, when the Lord Captain called out to Lady Cassia. Startled by the Lady Captain's cry, Lady Navigator answered. That's when I realized it. The armor glass between us and the Sanctum Navis was gone, and the things in the painting, they broke free. And what happened next? I barely remember a thing. There was a bright flash, a purple blur. I remembered feeling so scared that my knees were shaking. I remember my legs carrying me away like they had a mind of their own. As I ran, I heard screams behind me. The Lord Captain and Lady Cassia, they... Oh God, Emperor. The creatures, they pulled out them both inside the painting. Sir? Mistress Voxmaster, I have a report that needs to be delivered to the senior officers. The Lord Captain and the Lady Navigator were lost during the emergency warp jump. Their whereabouts are still unknown. I'm sending you the interrogation reports. End of recording. What the heck is happening? Not prepared at all. Sector, no data. Region, no data. Location, no data. Material, relation of the Lord Captain's personal account, recorded by, no data. Note, strictly classified. Access protocol holder, Edward von Valencius. Just when Orsellio's ritual did not go as planned. The warp disturbance was triggered by the Lady Navigator's trance washed over the Sanctum Navis. The void ship's machine spirits reacted to the search of Imperium and interpreted it as a call to action. Thus did the emergency jump into the unknown begin. Amid the shrieks of sirens, the clanging of shutters, and the distant hum of the warp engine, some unknown will pulled the Lord Captain to the Sanctum Navis to toward the creatures from the living canvas that had already gripped the Lady Navigator's throat. Horrified, almost out of breath, and struggling to scream, Cassia stretched out her hand and began slowly sinking into her own painting. The Lord Captain. It doesn't sound good, and I wonder what it is. If it's like, the Gala field is active, so it shouldn't be just like regular warp stuff. Is it like Tisiphone? Or are there like dangerous creatures looming around the Atlas? What's happening? Now we can use our companion things. Nice. The Lord Captain snatched a dagger from the floor and started hacking at the hands reaching from inside the painting. The ritual dagger of House Orsellio cleaving the billowing shadows, and yet the painted hand reformed itself from the moment after the blade passed through it. Cassia went limp in the clutches of the horrific creation, was immediately pulled to the other side of the painting. A moment later, Edward, still clutching the dagger, was likewise plunged in the depths of the world that Lady Navigator had created. It seems she opened a portal using her blood on the painting. But where to? Where are the creatures coming from? Edward awoke, finding himself in the middle of a gigantic, boundless, billowing nothingness. His body felt weightless, floating in a void strewn with hundreds of the Lady Navigator's colors. Some of them bright, warm and alluring, others morose, cold and heavy. The Lord Captain reached for the bright colors. Seems like the better idea, right? Edward plunged in a river of bright hues, and flashes of rosy sunset and lilac carried him down the dazzling stream. Before long, the Lord Captain was standing in an idyllic garden permeated with the fragrance of flowers and the singing of birds. Servants in purple livery darted back and forth, attending to a withered old woman in a navigator's mask. Sitting on her lap and smiling coyly to everyone was a little girl with ruby eyes and white hair. Is the old one Tisiphone? Is she hiding there where the Atlas is? I'm afraid she's dangerous. Be a good little girl, my child, until the day we meet again. With trembling hands, the woman handed the girl to a navigator in a laboratory attire. I am out of time. Prepare the child for the Atlas transfer, and destroy all records and mentions of the world of RTV. RTV? Kinda sounds like television. None must learn of that which took place here. And remember, her body must grow strong for it to accept my power. And once I've returned, loyalty will be rewarded. So she really did something to come back, and it's just using Cassia. But where is she? Why does she want to come back? From what? The memory dissipated, and a gust of silvery wind hurled the Lord Captain back into the ocean of nothingness. But this time, the nothingness felt the smell. Instead of bright hues, all it contained was shadows of invisible monsters swimming by, shrouded by nebulous veil of unfathomableness. The Lord Captain swam toward the dark colors. Greyish blue waves swallowed the Lord Captain, and the feeling of lightness disappeared as the limbs grew heavy again. Edward fell on hard floor of a laboratory cluttered with vats as tall as a human. Inside them were dozens, hundreds, even of repulsive mutants. Some had no arms, or no legs, or two heads, or no face, or their innards turned inside out, but each had white skin, white hair, long clawed limbs, and ruby eyes. My lady, the child is born! I mean, as horrible as it is, that's what the Navis nobility do, right? Like just, well, kind of breeding the best navigator. It feels like many failed navigators. A tall old woman slowly approaches one of the vats. Readings? Stable. Mutations? None were detected at any of the stages. Genes? Identical, my lady. Chances of survival? 100 times higher than any of the previous experiments. It's so horrible to talk about like living people as experiments. How long would it take to grow this child? I fear accelerating the process might cause the body to fail. The only one after years of Silence. I understand the situation. Natural growth. I do not have much time. We will have to go with the backup plan. Cassia is the backup plan? Interesting. Maybe because of the bleeding through of emotions, she's considered a failed one. The backup. How horrible. Yes, Navigator, it will be done. The memory dissipated, and a gust of savory wind hurled the Lord Captain back into the ocean of nothingness. But this time, the nothingness felt the smell. Instead of bright hues, all it contained was shadows of invisible monsters swimming by, shrouded by a nebulous veil of unfathomableness. I really hope Cassia doesn't see those visions. How horrible. Unfortunately, the Navigator's gene can't be passed to regular humans, so there's only a certain number of Navigator bloodlines. Which make those houses so powerful. The Lord Captain closes his eyes and remained adrift in the weightlessness. Edward stayed in the ocean of nothingness, devoid of any sensation or emotion, until an ornate ritual dagger floated before his eyes and reminded him of a world that had once seemed more real than this one. Someone's scream broke the delicate equilibrium. What was that? Someone's scream broke the delicate equilibrium of the Lord Captain's motionless body, and the weightlessness released him. He plummeted into the maroon abyss of roiling illusions, but was now in full control of his body again. And then Edward descended into the abyss, towards the screams. Is Tessaphone trying to take hold of Cassia? Is it possession? It looks like that. Yikes, look at that artwork. I mean, it looks really cool. But I guess... Is she a spectre? Is like a spirit, her undead self trying to possess Cassia? Yikes. The Lord Captain crashed from an immeasurable height to the bottom of a roiling abyss. In the next moment, Edward saw two figures amid the boiling maroon mist. One of the figures, unnatural gaunt and tall, was clutching the other, smaller one in its claws, screaming furiously, and the Lord Captain peered into the strange maroon mist. Thank you, Yrliet. In the swelling mist all around him, Edward could make out human faces stricken with torment. And not just human faces. There were Xenos, Aeldari, their features fused together with those of humans, which made the Crimson Spectres look all the more abominable. Their gazes and their rage were directed at the two unmoving figures facing each other. Why are there Aeldari spirits as well? I mean, why are there even any spectres? The Lord Captain drew closer to look at the figures. One step was all it took for some unknown force to notice the Lord Captain, seize him, and drag him through the painting twisted space. Now the Lord Captain could clearly see the dark shade of the long-dead Navigator leaning over Cassia. Clutching her neck, in its clawed fingers, the shade screamed, "You were given life because of me, you survived because of me, and here you are now, because I've willed it so. Bow before me, tell me what I wish to hear, and your suffering will end. Go on, child, I've waited for so long. Submit to me." Cassia looked exhausted, her body covered in hundreds of thin cuts, and left lacerated claw marks on her cheeks. Poor Cassia. She's basically lich, as I understand it, surviving off each person implanted with the Atlas. And that's why all these spirits are around her. That's truly evil, just to prolong her own life. Great. Then I guess the rebels were kinda right about her symphony. Yet, there was a steadfast resolve in her eyes. "I know who you are, Tessaphone Orsellio. I know what you crave. I saw it in the visions that you sent me again and again. I won't allow you. I will never allow you to become me." Could have told us that, though. Cassia's fatigued voice is quivering, but she was not about to yield in this battle. The Lord Captain just used that ritual dagger. I'm not sure if maybe Cassia needs to do that. Because of their connection, if like hurting Persephone will maybe impact Cassia. The Lord Captain urged the Lady Navigator to fight the monster to the bitter end. The Lord Captain's words attracted not just Lady Cassia's attention. Persephone Orsellio, finally noticing the presence of a living creature in that bizarre world, turned to face the interloper and lunged forward, seething with rage. When the entity's claws were millimeters from the rogue trader's throat, Cassia opened her Navigator's eye, and a wave of unbridled warp energy obliterated Persephone's spectre before she realized what was happening. Even visions, Cassia is unstoppable. I love it. The Lady Navigator graced the Lord Captain with a tired smile. The abortive ritual had turned out to be a trap set for Lady Cassia by the previous Novator of her house. But the rogue trader had ensured that her plan fell to ruin. And now, it was time to desert that accursed place. Cassia took the rogue trader's hand and guided him through the maroon mist and out of the painting. The unconscious bodies were discovered in Sanctum Nevis 20 Terran days after their disappearance. 20 days? As soon as the rogue trader's void ship had emerged from the warp in an unknown system. Yikes. Yikes. Let's see what's happening in this unknown system. The rogue trader vanishing again. Classic. Ooh, and a purple war piece. Oh, maybe let's repair our hull. Or not. Nothing. Let's repair. I'm nervous. What's happening? Where are we? We can land. Palace of the Atlas. I guess we will finally get some answers. And Palace of the Atlas sounds like it is an artifact. So something they found in the Expanse, right? Curious.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
This architecture looks really foreign. Too many tentacles for my liking. There's a barely noticeable imprint of a long, clawed hand on the broken cogitator screen. And this thing here is definitely Imperial. Are we on an Aeldari world? This looks like a portal, but with a Navigator symbol. The Kron world is one of the original homeworlds first colonized by the Aeldari as they rose to power tens of thousands of standard years ago. The Kron worlds formed the heart of the lost Aeldari Empire before they were consumed by the creation of the vast warp rift called the Eye of Terror following the birth of the Chaos God Slaanesh. The Aeldari sanctum is blemished by human presence. In their pursuit of ancient secrets, the Navigator had no qualms about filling the ruins with machinery and supplies.
Was that supposed to be a challenge?
Is the Atlas an Aeldari artifact?
I always have a backup plan.
I guess so. The Orsellio navigators left no stone unturned in this Aeldari temple. It is as if they were looking for something that they just could not find.
Is there money to be made?
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
I guess they were digging for something.
Both strong and wise is Ulfar.
But I mean, what were they looking for? And who told them about that? I mean, this world seems to be pretty
Always
lost,
keep
right?
your eye on the prize.
Decayed pages. I guess one of the few pages I'm going to actually read. Also, Orsellio needs not to know what is taking place here. The Navigators are frightened enough by its power, as it is. The last experiment left free from the Sethala clan without a shred of reason. Empty shells will bring no glory to House Orsellio or its lesser branch. We shall carry on. At last, we've managed to implant the artifact in subjects who can wield its power. That sounds like the Atlas. Perhaps all the Navigators who perished in the agonizing torrent of energy were merely a symptom of our decline. I'm tired of counting the dead. The weak have no place among those who have harnessed the Atlas. Their abilities have grown manifold, and and becomes significantly easier to control and more effective at resisting the ruinous influence of the warp. It is all or nothing. Today is the day when my work is completed and the Starway Atlas takes its final form. The Sethalers have already undergone the operation. All that's left is me, the Atlas that controls them all. Today I become the greatest innovator in the history of House Orsellio, or I turn to nothing. So they experimented with an Aeldari artifact to boost their powers and also to control all other navigators. Truly a tyrant. This power is beyond compare. All it took was a whim to make this wretched Sethalers fall dead at my feet. Yikes. It is if I have a second heart beating in my chest, subjugating any with the ability to touch it. How regrettable it is that this power only extends to those Orsellio navigators who have accepted a piece of the Atlas within themselves. From now on, all children will be gifted with one at their initiation. And there will be no one who can match our greatness. Truly evil. In the heart of the Navigator's camp. This is where Tisiphone Orsellio performed the experiments hundreds of years ago.
Keep your wits about you.
That's a pretty dark secret behind the Atlas. How did the rebels even know? My Lord Ulfar, would you mind?
No! Get back! Do not speak to me! Get out of my sight, you devious little bloodhound!
Ulfar doesn't like Heinrix. Someone remove the data crypt from this dead machine to keep the House's secrets safe and leave no information about experiments that took place here. I mean, we already found some
Rise to the
notes.
top, or get left in the dust.
I'm just surprised. Maybe that is why the Aeldari were also there. Because I just wanted to say they can't be happy about this whole thing.
Too hard for a simple monkey.
The ruined statues once depicted pages from the long history of the Aeldari.
Not dawdle.
I just wonder why Ulfar calls, like, Heinrix a bloodhound. Like, Ulfar seems kind of more like a bloodhound, right? Oh, demolition! Come on, Ulfar! Don't tell me Ulfar can't climb.
I cannot be leashed.
Ulfar can't climb.
Melt before my wrath.
That feels like a bug. Okay, demolition.
Rogue trader.
50%,
Fear to look at me
30,
because of
Let's not waste time with
40,
pleasant.
State your intention.
50.
Ready. Predicted input.
Here we go.
Error. Making adjustments.
If you have enough firepower.
I always have a backup plan. I will lead us to
Here we
fortune.
go. Plasma ring. A ring weapon that fires a single plasma shot. I mean, why not? And the other one, Grenadier's backpack. We don't use grenades. I tried that. I'm just not using them. Tech use. Let's change those. Alright.
I always keep my options open.
Let's find out what's... Nervous bodyguard. How did we have to do this crazy ritual, but there are already other navigators here?
Keep
How
your
can this
wits
be?
about you.
And it's the rebels, I think. The Atlas? No matter. It is a small price to pay for the liberation of House Orsellio from the chains of tyranny. Oh. They're all here. Everyone found the way. Begone, renegades. We follow the Atlas' call in your wake, child. Stand with us. House Orsellio will not trade Tisiphone's legacy for the false idols of blind fools. Is that a soul stone? Oh, yikes. What's happening? Why is it killing everyone? But is that a soul stone, and that's why the Aeldari are also in the vision? It kind of looks how I mentioned a soul stone, but like much bigger. Why did everyone just die? Orsellio Renegade's representatives. Damn Xenos! This was not the bargain we struck. Crown smite you! And they allied with Xenos. Of course they did. What kind of Xenos are you? You have very interesting hairstyles. Are they wearing masks? Are they harlequins? I think they're harlequins. The Navigator, whose skin is so thin that it reveals the muscles, bones and innards underneath the clenches, is excited to golden jaw in contempt. Great Regent's Envoy. What is this? The Rogue Trader and the traitors to the house have lured the child into a trap set by Xenos. Wish my eyes were deceiving me. Now I can see clearly that Great Regent Argenta was right to send us after your vessel. I wonder what would have changed if we killed, like, well, the leader of both sides. The steadily built woman is armed with a pistol, and yet there are signs of exhaustion in her posture. Her face is hidden behind a gem-encrusted three-eyed mask, and her elaborate Navis nobility vestment are stained with dried blood, and other evidence of recent combat. I can't talk with the Xenos, which I think are Harlequin. I too wish to be enlightened about what is happening here. You have stopped defiling the remains of the hallowed ground of our ancestors. Ah, Troopmaster. With your semblance of speech, monkey. The Harlequins. Bright clothes glimmer faintly in the dim light of the system star, and the sinister grin on his mask only adds to the menacing and aloof presence. The final act will soon unfold, where you will pay for the deeds of your ancestors. Stay put and wait for the puppeteer to pull at your strings. Are we going to see Nocturne again? Why are the Xenos ruins where the Palace of the Atlas should be? Why is this place coated in an impenetrable black mist? I'm suffocating. Cassia clutches a breastplate near where Atlas is, her voice feeble and trembling. Free-eyed monkey, you see into Shael. The taint of your ancestors has begun to consume your body and soul. Pathetic fools with an insatiable lust for power that is not yours. Ending your misery will be merciful. Taint? Do you mean the Atlas? Xenos traitor? Silence, traitor. The Atlas is the sacred relic of House Orsellio. It is what elevates us above the rest. How dare you? The Regent's envoy abruptly loses her breath with a groan, and she clutches her chest where her Atlas is implanted. I refuse to accept this. Impossible. It kind of adds to the whole gruesome vibe that no one talks about, like, almost everyone here just instantly got liquefied. And I think cause of the Atlas, because it was gleaming. What is this place? We call planets such as this the one Crone worlds that came to be long before my time. Back when all the Aeldari were united people whose empire stretched from one edge of the galaxy to the other. It is a world beneath the first stars. An unblighted world. I never thought that I would come to find one. I have nothing to add to the outcast's words, other than my eternal astonishment at your curious troop, monkey. What is that taint you speak of, Xenos? Do you not see it? The Harlequin's voice booms throughout the ruined temple. When your monkey discovered this Crone world, you tainted it with your crude technology, despoiled it of its relics, ruined all there was to the last stone. And worst of all, you sullied the souls of our ancestors reposed in their sacred vessel, the spirit monolith. It is a giant spirit stone. Nice. And that's also why the Harlequin are protecting them, because they're taking care of the souls. Which makes everything Persephone did, which was already horrible, even more horrible. He points his thin finger at the remarkable crystal floating behind his back, and the Harlequins around you tighten the grip on their weapons. Let's see if we can somehow resolve this kinda peacefully-ish. Like a sea of bottomless blue, Cassia looks around her with a stunned expression, her gaze shifting from one Xenos to another. I did not know that living things could exude such saturated hues. I wish I could paint this ocean a different color. Which makes sense, cause Aeldari just like feel way more intense, right? And Edward examined the hovering crystal. I love this story part so far. This enormous, translucent stone shares a strange resonance with this place. You can sense the energy emanating from it, mysterious, restless, coagulated. It resembles a giant heart that has been plucked out of its owner's chest. Its crystal clarity is pierced by hundreds of dark veins that have taken root within it like a terrible illness. Corrupted. How did this Navigators of House Orsellio taint the spirit monolith? The experiments. Cassia covers her mouth in horror. This is where she conducted her experiments. Tisiphone. No, it's not possible. To consult with Xenos is to violate the word of the God Emperor. It is known that to all that Tisiphone Orsellio executed anyone who showed any interest in the enemies of humanity. Is that so? Then why is it that every piece of metal or fabric in this place bears our house coats of arms? Open your eyes. Quiet. The Harlequin's tone is mild, but it is not a request. I'm unsurprised that the truth is hidden from your gaze as free-eyed monkey who see into Shael. I realized it the moment I met the first of you, wretched, begging us to help you destroy your own kin. I sensed it within you, our ancestors' call, their pleas, their endless torment. I knew that when you found was a crone world, and I humbly waited for the day you would lead me to it. What is the meaning behind your words, Ater, Troop Master? You know the answer already, outcast. You've already known. Can we somehow fix this? And Edward addresses Yrliet. What was that about? What answer have you always known? Yrliet glowers at Cassia. So that is why. That is why your presence makes my soul shrink to the size of a river pearl, my throat choke in a color of thorns. That is why your word seeps into my soul like poison, leaving wounds that will not heal. There's a shard of the spirit monolith inside you, monkey. Twisted, perverted, invigorating you by making my ancestors suffer. It's kind of fueled by the souls, right? Alas, you're right, outcast. The ancestors of the three-eyed monkey sought to command the power of the spirit monolith, and yet they suffered failure time and again. Eventually they discovered a way to harness the power, a terrible way, torturous and unforgivable. They shattered the monolith into many shards and weakened the souls within. And then, the Harlequin trembles with fury. Then they placed the shards of the spirit monolith inside their bodies to empower their abilities. I never wished to learn such harsh truth about my own house. Cassia buries her face in her hands, and you feel waves of despair spreading from her live frame, which suddenly appears as fragile as glass. You really have to be so twisted to go through with that. I mean, incredible that it works, gotta say that, but still, killing your own Navigators, experimenting on them, killing them, and also doing that to the souls of another people. Neither Theodora von Valencius nor Tisiphone was infallible, but that doesn't mean we are powerless to rectify the errors of our ancestors. I hope the Aeldari agree. You say that only because you wish to soothe me. She smiles faintly. The renegade navigator stares at Cassia in shock. You are more than just a tyrant's heir. You're a successor to a mad heretic. You betray our faith. You must be destroyed, you and the Atlas, once and for all. I just want to remind you, if you blame Cassia for being like a successor and like related to Tisiphone, you're all the same family. You think the solution is so easy, don't you, monkey? When you die, your souls become captive inside the spirit monolith. The process is deranging to our ancestors, who have served as the monolith's guardians for eons. It is equally agonizing to the souls of your dad. And the more monkey souls the monolith absorbs, the more volatile it becomes. The Aeldari and the monkey have spent many a dance battling for supremacy within the monolith, and its integrity is waning. You sense it too. And that's what we saw around Tisiphone. Incredible. The only way to free our ancestors from the pain is to separate the monkey taint from the spirit monolith. Our troop is here to perform just that. We all will play our parts today, and when the final act of this age-long tragedy begins, the monkey players will exit this world stage. Sinister shadows dance on the Harlequin's mask as he draws an unknown device from his sleeve. I don't know if we can somehow save this yet. Wait, is there no way to whatsoever separate the Navigator's souls from those of the Aeldari without killing one or the other? The Xenos thinks for a moment. You monkey have desecrated our ancient world. I see no reason to assist you with the final dance. But that would mean also saving your people. And Edward addresses Cassia. What do you say to this Xenos assertions? Cassia gives you a grateful nod and turns to the Harlequin troop. I cannot change the past, it is true. Nor can I change the fact that my house is forever tainted with disgrace born of Tisiphone Orsellio's hubris. Yet, all of us here today have the power to change the future and halt the unending suffering that is drowning both your kin and mine. There might be still something we can do. Knights. You suggest that the monkey and the Aeldari change the future together. The Harlequin leans forward curiously. I must admit, my leading lady, I'm confounded by your audacity. And go on. I like Harlequins, they're kind of funny. This is why no one likes Eldar. You see the best solution, but you don't want to choose it out of spite. Yeah, and arrogance. My Atlas. Cassia places a hand on her gilded breastplate. If you can free the phantoms of my house from the spirit monolith, guide them to enter my Atlas. Their experience and wisdom will help steer House Orsellio into the path of truth and allow future generations to avoid the calamitous pitfall of their forebears. So we would keep, or Cassia would keep, part of the spirit monolith. Okay, Morag, my leading lady, the shards of the monolith are lodged inside the chest of every monkey bound to you by ties of blood. How exactly do you intend to return them? Which is a good question. Also, no idea about how many navigators we are speaking here. I shall use the Atlas to sever my subject connection to the spirit monolith, and then I shall extract its shards from every navigator of House Orsellio. This artifact is implanted at birth, but that does not mean that the ritual cannot be reversed. I witnessed its creation through Tisiphone's eyes and my visions. I lived it, over and over again, through the memories of the Sethala clan. I can recreate the ritual that will return the souls of your kin to you and save my people's lives. Cassia, are you really capable of this? It's like quite a feat. I'm confident in my abilities, more so than ever before. It actually sounds like a good plan. Like everyone benefits. Let's just really hope they're going to go along with that. Especially because we can't roll a persuasion check. Seldom do humans and Xenos get the chance to resolve their conflicts without violence. I second Lady Cassia's proposal. The Harlequin remains as still as a garrote statue for several minutes. Then the malicious voice behind the mask says, I'm willing to try, monkey. No. The reasoned envoy draws a pistol. I won't let you destroy the Atlas, even if it is the child's wish. Lady Orsellio, you are too young, inexperienced. You simply cannot comprehend. Conservatives. You address the future innovator of House Orsellio, one who survived the massacre of Urek V, who has lived following an attempt on her life at the Palace of Dagonis, who has restored her house stability in what scant time she has been free, while you, all of you, have spent years destroying it from within. You address one who has passed through the tempest of the Sea of Souls to the true Atlas as a rogue trader's ally. Yet, still you call me unworthy, don't you? Young, unexperienced. Kneel before me, and I shall forgive you your insolence. Whoa, Cassia. That was way more authority than I expected. And she did a fellowship test and succeeded. Orsellio was always loyal to the Navigator Tisiphone. Henceforth, it will be loyal to her successor, even if you see fit to lead us down different path, my lady. The Navigator's voice trembles with reverence. Are you done with your performance, monkey? Then stand aside and do not interrupt. Go, Cassia, I love it. Also, forging her own path really sounds cool. And justice for the Aeldari. Hey, and it's blue again. It's way nice. Still quite broken, but way nicer. Ah, I can feel it again. The tranquility. The ancestral souls have found peace, and corruption no longer endangers the monolith or this world. The Harlequin's narrow shoulders now look completely relaxed. Remember our agreement, Cassia Orsellio. We will soon meet in this place again, so that you can give us the shards. And now, be gone from our world, monkey. Not a thank you or anything. But hey, you're welcome. And hey, without any fights.
Is there money to be made?
I just wanted to say with no bloodshed, but well. Without fighting. Here we go. That was intense, but awesome. I love the lore. I love this whole warp stuff, the Navigator's lore. Ha! Let's see how Cassia's feeling about this whole thing. Come on, load faster. Here we go. It also kind of feels like the conclusion to Cassia's questline, right? So I guess that's probably also the case for Heinrix. I wonder what chapter 5 is being like.
How nice of you to grace me with your presence. I was just thinking back to our journey to the Palace of the Atlas. That is, to the world of Xenos. Remembering that most reckless act has enveloped my mind in a whole palette of hues. But when I think of the great risk you took for House Orsellio's and my own sake, an azure shawl instantly descends on my shoulders, and amber sparks flash inside my soul. Please accept my sincerest gratitude.
I really like how she matured and also found her own way. Like compared to the beginning where she was just like a plaything for house politics. So, now you're the full-fledged Navigator of House Orsellio.
You of all people should know that succession is a lengthy and tiresome process.
Tell me about it.
While my entire house is busy preparing for a grand council at which I am to ceremonially inherit the late Tisiphone's title, I have decided to remain by your side. To relish just a little more of this carefree liberty. For as soon as I am summoned to do my duty, we must say our farewells.
Yeah, once more, I'm like, Romans and Cassia probably also has this element of, will this Romans, well, remain, withstand this whole pressure or not? Because I mean, also as a Navigator, you're part of the, it sounds so wrong, part of the breeding game, I guess. What awaits the Navigators of your house now?
The Xenos have managed to free the souls of our ancestors from their confinement.
Yes.
The memory and wisdom of those that came before us will serve our house, helping build upon the ruins of the present, a firm foundation for generations to come. I believe in that, as I believe in the divine light of the Emperor.
It's interesting that the Harlequin let Cassia keep that one piece, but I guess it's also necessary to have something for Like all the Navigator souls, right? I wonder if they are in pain. So, now the entire power of the Atlas is in the Novator's hands.
I suppose so, if by power you mean priceless knowledge. As for the special powers granted by the Xenos souls, the navigators of House Orsellio will once again have to contend with their own bodily and spiritual limitations. However, I am undaunted by the prospect, for our line and our gene have never been weak. House Orsellio will succeed, and soon we will rise again, draped in white and gold.
And hopefully don't do those horrible things again.
Of course. I will try to... I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
It doesn't mean they can't have lovers, just that it's more like political marriage for school reasons. Yeah, social reasons. That makes more sense. Just contemplating what you mean. That was a cool quest. So, now, off to... Whitestar Teamer? No, what was the name? Ah, well, kinda fitting. Let's see how long the journey is going to be. Then again, some things happen on the way, so might be nice. Nice random event.